Hey everybody, welcome back to our online class. And the purpose of this video lecture is to introduce you to the Writing Center here at Mountwest and to talk about what the Writing Center is, what the Writing Center does, where the Writing Center is located, and how the Writing Center can help you with not only the writing assignments that you're going to be doing for our class, but also other writing assignments that you may have assigned to you from other classes as well. And I'm thrilled to welcome the Writing Center coordinator at Mountwest to this video lecture today. His name is Chris Prewit. Some of you may have seen him on campus if you've been around, or maybe seen him in the hallway, or maybe you've had him for another class. He handles a lot of the oversight and tutoring services that are provided in the Writing Center. So, Chris, thanks first of all for coming to do this video lecture. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It's really nice to talk with you, and really nice to have a chance to talk in video recording format to the students. Hope you all are doing well.
Absolutely. So let me start off first, Chris, by just asking you just some basic question. What is a writing center for students who may not be familiar with that term or that concept? And what does the writing center do? How can the writing center help them in terms of getting their writing to be the best representation of their thinking and writing that they can do?
Right. So the easiest way to explain what a writing center is, it is a space that exists in a college campus or on a college campus where you have a caring reader. It depends on the institution, but the caring reader could be a fellow student, perhaps a graduate student if it's a university. It could be hired staff who maybe don't teach courses but work strictly in the writing center or perform other learning specialist positions. And then sometimes you have, as in the case at Mountwest, a staff that is made entirely of English faculty, including myself. So we sit in the space at designated times, Monday through Friday, beginning week two of each semester up until into finals week, and talk with you about what you have written at any phase of the writing process. This is something, for instance, um, that includes having an assignment given the day of, coming to the writing center and saying to us, I'm not entirely sure what my professor wants me to do. I've looked over the instructions. I'm a little confused. Can you help me? And we have a conversation about it. We look at the instructions together. And of course, very commonly, students write a thing and they want to know, is this what the professor wants? We read it together. We talk about it. So really the thing to keep in mind about a writing center is it is a space where you have a conversation about what you have written with people who are knowledgeable and care about what you have written.
Very well said. So let me propose a scenario to you, and you tell me what's wrong with this scenario. So I've been given an assignment. It's Monday afternoon, let's say 2 o'clock. My assignment is due Thursday. I have a rough draft. I come see you. I come see one of the other instructors in the writing center, and I stop by and I say, I have this narrative essay due, or I have this analysis paper due, or this research paper that is due at the end of the week. I'm just going to leave this with you, and I'm going to go eat lunch, and I'll come back in about an hour and a half, and we can either talk about it or I can pick up the draft after you've taken a look at it. What's wrong with that scenario? And if a student would come to you under that scenario, maybe the time frames or the assignments are different, they would come to you
Mhm.
under that scenario. What's the problem with that? And why are they probably going to be disappointed if they do that?
Well, because I mean, great scenario in the sense that it's very detailed. Not great for me as the professional in the room, and not great for the student either. I mean, because although in that scenario, the student says, "Hey, I'll be back eventually to talk with you about what I've written." No, you're coming into the space now to talk with me. I have a lot of respect for auto mechanics. It's a very difficult job, and car after car after car can very quickly come in and require the attention, concentration, full effort of the auto mechanic. And in that situation, it can take a long time to get a car fixed. Um, it's reasonable to drop a car off and leave and come back in the hopes that the car is repaired. But that's not what we're doing in the writing center. We are going to sit together when you are there, and talk about it right then and there. We don't work on a scheduling basis at Mountwest. You cannot schedule ahead of time and drop off your text, or sorry, your draft, whatever project you're working on. It's first come, first serve when you are in the writing center in the physical space. Um, just because, sometimes, well, being a student, there's a lot you have to get done. You have different classes you have to go to. If you have work obligations, if you have family obligations. So sometimes you're coming in because this is the pocket of time, right? That you have to come in and work with us. And it doesn't seem right or fair to other students to kind of have your work dropped off with the expectation that the Writing Center professional can look at it and maybe not like help another student that comes in. I don't know. I guess without trying to put it in blunt terms, it's rather insensitive. And perhaps it just comes from a place of not knowing. So just to say how the process is better for all parties involved, come at a time when you have time to sit down and talk with us. I would say a session usually will last on average between 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So it might go a little bit longer depending on how much time you have and what the project is and the kinds of questions that you pose about the project. But yeah, if you're coming in person, you definitely want to have some time to talk with us about it. Because often with a draft, what we're going to do is read through it together. I mean, that really is the foundation for the conversation is this writing that you have offered us. We're reading it together. We're stopping to ask questions, to talk about what you've done, at times to celebrate what you've done. I mean, this is to go back to the analogy of the auto mechanic. I'm not really fixing your writing. Nobody in the writing center is fixing it. We're understanding it. We're talking about it in terms that you indicate would be most helpful for you.
Excellent. Very good. Very good. So, Chris, why don't you show us how folks can find the Writing Center, sort of where it's located, and then if they want to go online and make an appointment, if for either an online only session. Well, let me ask you that before we get to that. You can do in-person sessions and online sessions. For the folks that are in the class who maybe are truly distance learning, they're not taking any classes on campus, what is the Writing Center experience going to be like for them? And then I'll have you show us how they can make an appointment to come to the Writing Center.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So if you absolutely cannot be there in person, the online writing center experience at Mountwest is email based. What you'll do is you will complete a sign-in form. It's a Microsoft form located on the Writing Center webpage, which we'll show in just a moment. And this is also true if you're coming for in-person assistance. You would want to complete the form because this gets the ball rolling. It lets us know up front, here's what you need help with. You basically select from a number of options. What is it that you want to focus on while you're there? But again, going back to folks who are strictly online, so once you complete that form, through your Mount West email, you will then email the Writing Center the instructions for the writing assignment, which you can attach. I think most professors these days at Mount West have the instructions as a PDF or doc file embedded in Blackboard, which you can download to your device and then attach it to your email. And you would also want to share with us the draft that you've written, if you have indeed written a draft at this point and you want feedback on what you've done. Much the same way, attaching it to the email, or you can also share it through your OneDrive. You just want to make sure that the file has been set up so that you give permission to other users, that is Writing Center staff, to look at it. Because I will say this has been an issue sometimes for students. Just I think they're unaware that they have to set permissions for other users to look at their files when they share through OneDrive. And that can sometimes slow down the response because if we can't access your essay or whatever, we can't provide feedback. So just be aware of that as well.
Excellent.
But
So
yeah,
show us where to go and where that form is located and how folks can fill that out.
absolutely. So first, let me share my screen. Right. And as you can see, I am on the Mount West website. This is the home page. What we can do is navigate here where it says academics. You don't have to press anything, just allow the cursor to hover over academics, and we get a drop-down menu. At the very bottom of the drop-down menu is a link that says Writing Center. So we will scroll down and select that link. And this is the official Mountwest Writing Center webpage. It also notes our location. So for those that do want to visit us in person, we're located in room 304. If you take the elevator in the main building and you walk straight ahead, just around the corner on the right, it should be the first door on the right, room 304, and it is marked as Writing Center. All right, underneath this slideshow of images is a link to the form that I was talking about. So for whether you're coming in person or wanting assistance through email, this is the first point or first item to take care of, clicking on the sign-in form. I will come back and show you what the form looks like in just a moment. Just wanted to quickly call out that each semester we update the web page to include our in-person hours of operation, which are also posted on campus in different places. But uh, if you have to check it out online before you can determine whether if you can come in and see us on a particular day, it's here on the web page. And the process for how it works, as well as what online writing center services, that process, what it looks like. And we've included a mission statement because we see what we do in the Writing Center not just as a matter of helping you succeed academically. We really cherish this space as a place where you can create, share, think about what you've done, and be taken seriously as a writer. That's an important value to me. So, anyway, back to procedures. So, if we click here on the sign-in form, this will take us to a Microsoft form. And it won't take you too long, I hope, to complete the form. Um, it kind of changes based on what you are requesting when you come to the Writing Center, or in this case, we'll run the scenario as though we are strictly distance learning. We cannot come to the main campus, and we want email assistance. So we start by filling out our name, easy enough. We do want to include our MCTC email address. That way, the Writing Center can reach out to you, which, of course, since you're sending this, you're sending your work through your MCTC email. This is just, I don't know, extra coverage, I suppose, just to make sure that we're communicating with the right person. We do want to keep a record of the date that you request assistance, but the default will always be today's date. And here we would note the kind of service that we're receiving if we want help in person or through email, so we'll select email. Here is just a brief write-up about what the assignment is. You don't have to go into great detail. You don't have to copy and paste the entire instructions here. As a matter of fact, I would ask that you please do not copy and paste the entire instructions here because eventually this becomes a cell in an Excel sheet. It's a little difficult to read. So what would you want to type in here? Well, for instance, if your first writing project in English 101 is a narrative essay, something like that works. Or if you are writing a This I Believe essay, just simple things like that go a long way in helping us know what we're going to look at. Question 6, for this assignment, which class is it and who is the instructor? So if it were for my class, I teach sections of English 101 Enhanced this semester. So a student could put that and then could put my last name there. So fairly simple. And here's where we choose from different options of things that we want help with. And we can select multiple things. It's really whatever you need. The first option in bold will not apply to a student who is getting assistance through email. This is just for students who are coming in person and they don't necessarily need to work with the writing center staff. They just want to use the space to write. We do have a number of study spaces on campus, and the Learning Commons is a really nice area if you are able to be on the main campus. But it gets a little noisy sometimes just because people talk, maybe people listen to music while they study. We keep the writing center fairly quiet, so it's still a space where you can go to to write with minimal distraction. But in any case, these other options absolutely will apply for those who are doing this through email. We already mentioned one possibility is we're not sure what the assignment is asking us to do, so we would select that one. If we know what we're being asked to do, but maybe we're not sure how to get started at all, maybe writer's block, just, I don't know, maybe just needing to talk out different possibilities for how you could approach the assignment. This is the option. I've written a draft and I want to know if I've done the assignment correctly. Most of the time, this is what students select because they do have basically a draft complete and they really just need to know if they are heading in the right direction or perhaps what else could be added to maybe get it closer to what the student thinks the professor is looking for. Formatting, as you all know, or will find out shortly, is important with everything that you write. So we will help students with MLA or APA formatting. If you need help finding and citing sources, we can help you with that as well. But I also want to shout out Jamie, our librarian. Online students, you can also reach out to Jamie for assistance with anything related to the library and research. And then this option, I need help with grammar and punctuation, I suppose speaks for itself. Of course, this is in the editing phase of your writing process, so this is probably going to be the option that you want to select only if you feel like you have really got the draft where it needs to be with respect to content, format, structure. And it's really just a matter of making sure that at the line level, everything is as good as it can be before you submit it. All right. And then just one more thing that you have to select. Again, if you're doing this through email, this is the option that you want to select. And I included it because it's a reminder that through the email service, you will need to email the instructions as well as your draft to the Writing Center email. And it's listed right here as well, Writing Center at mctc.edu. Just one word, Writing Center. Here you can click send me an email receipt of my response if you want to keep a copy. Otherwise, click submit and you are done. With the
Excellent.
form at least.
Yes, absolutely. And so I guess, Chris, my last question would be for folks doing the email option, if they choose to do that, what's the turnaround time in terms of you all having an opportunity to read and make some comments or suggestions on the draft and then get that feedback to students?
All right. So I know that timely responses are important. We aim for about 1 to 2 business days. Um, Monday through Friday, really the optimal times to send us work. Saturdays and Sundays are a bit stickier since those aren't considered business days. But I also realize that there's a high likelihood for some students that weekends are the best times for them because of their work schedule, for instance, to send stuff to the writing center or to work on homework and need that kind of assistance. Um, but I at least would want to note that if you are working on your projects for school during the weekend and you email the Writing Center, just know it might not be until Monday before you receive a response. We do try to work as quickly and as thoughtfully as we can. But another consideration to have is volume of responses. We do get a lot of submissions via email, and we're happy to help students, obviously. But that can also mean that it will take a little bit to get back to you. So it's hard for me to predict high volume times, but if that happens, if you haven't received a response in about 24 hours, please don't panic. A response should be coming. If you feel compelled, send us an email just to know where things stand. We also know that sometimes technology doesn't work the way that we need it to work. So if you suspect that um, for some reason a response isn't coming, please reach out again. It could be that there was just, I don't know, a technological snafu of some kind. Um, and I suppose that covers all bases with respect to that question. Yeah. I would also encourage students to email me directly. My email address is Prewit Prewitt at mctc.edu. And yes, at the risk of over explaining and giving too many details, I will stop there with the response to that question.
Very good. Well, folks, I think Chris has given you some guidelines and some perspectives on the Writing Center, what it is, what it does, how you can participate, and what you need to do to get the most out of your experience each and every time that you go to the Writing Center. And so, if you have questions or concerns about the Writing Center, again, please reach out to Chris. You can reach out to me as well. We're happy to answer any questions. But this is a service that is meant to help you. It's meant to help you be a better thinker, a better writer, and to demonstrate your best thinking and your best writing in the work that you do. So take advantage of this service, not only just for our class, but also for all the classes that you have while you're a student at Mountwest for anything that involves any kind of a writing project. And as Chris mentioned, you don't have to take the full, complete, polished rough draft in. If you've got just a couple of paragraphs or you just want to bounce some ideas off of someone to see if you're heading in the right direction, the Writing Center, Chris and his staff can help you do that. So please take advantage of that. And a reminder, and as Chris kind of emphasized in his presentation, don't wait till the last minute. Start working on your drafts now, particularly if you know or you have some anxieties or are curious about how things are going to go. If you haven't been written an essay for a while, or maybe you have and just feel a little anxious or nervous about it, take advantage of the services. Get in there early, get your appointment taken care of so that you'll have some time to do some revision and some other editing work before you submit your final draft. So, Chris, thanks again. Thanks for your time. Thanks for walking us through all that. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're very welcome and happy writing, everybody.